Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 1. We are on Canto 6, Chapter 1. We are going to read from text 49. Would anyone like to say what we are reading about? Does anyone remember?
Yeah, please, Neha, you can say.
No, it's just, I would say, the discussion going on between the Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're having a discussion. And they are saying that, the Yamadutas are saying whatever the modes one is affected by right now, or whatever happiness and distress one is feeling, one can understand one has also felt in the past, and one will also feel in the future. Just as one is experiencing spring now, one can understand that in the past also spring was like that, and future also spring is going to come. So they are speaking on the basis of religious principles. So we'll continue reading. Yathagyas tamasa yukta.
Yatha agyatamasa yukta
Upaste vyaktam evahi.
upasate vyaktam evahi
Na veda purvam aparam.
na veda purvam aparam
Nashta janma smritis tatha.
nashta janma smritis tatha.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As a sleeping person acts according to the body manifested in his dreams and accepts it to be himself, so one identifies with his present body, which he acquired because of his past religious or irreligious actions, and is unable to know his past or future lives. A man engages in sinful activities because he does not know what he did in his past life to get his present materially conditioned body, which is subjected to the threefold miseries, as stated by Rishabdev in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 4, Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. A human being who's mad after sense gratification does not hesitate to act sinfully. Yad indriya pritaya apranoti. He performs sinful actions simply for sense gratification. Just like Arjuna asked Krishna, no, what is one impelled to sinful acts as if by force? And Krishna says it's lust only, O Arjuna. So same is being said here because of our desire. Our desire may be so strong that it forces us to act sinfully. Na sadhu manye, this is not good. Yata atmano yam asanapi kleshada asadeha. Because of such sinful actions, one receives another body in which to suffer as he is suffering in his present body because of his past sinful activities. So whatever past sins we have done, we are getting the results now, and what we are doing, current sinful activities, we are creating future body. It should be understood that a person who does not have Vedic knowledge always acts in ignorance of what he has done in the past, what he's doing at present, and how he will suffer in the future. It's completely in darkness. Therefore, the Vedic injunction is tamasima. Don't remain in darkness. Jyotirgama. Try to go to the light. The light or illumination is Vedic knowledge, which one can understand when he's elevated to the mode of goodness, or when he transcends the mode of goodness by engaging in devotional service to the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. So it's due to ignorance only that we are acting sinfully. It's due to ignorance that we give into because of that we have this material desires, sinful desires, we act sinfully, we get sinful reactions, and then we suffer. So here Prabhupada is mentioning, go to the light. What is the meaning, go to the light? Means get the knowledge, get the Vedic knowledge. How? Engage in devotional service. By engaging in devotional service, one can transcend the modes. So gradually one elevates the consciousness from ignorance to passion to goodness. One comes to goodness, one is able to understand the knowledge, then one can transcend, all by engaging in devotional service. This is described in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 6.23, Yasya Deve Parabhaktir, Yatha Deve Tatha Guru, Tasyaite Kathita Hi Artha Prakashante Mahatmana. Unto those great souls who have implicit faith, in both the Lord and the spiritual master, all the imports of Vedic knowledge are automatically revealed. So Shvetashvatara Upanishad is saying implicit faith in both Lord and spiritual master, means equal faith. Equal faith. The Vedas enjoin tad vijnanartham sagurum eva vigachet. One must approach a spiritual master who has full knowledge of the Vedas and be faithfully directed by him in order to become a devotee of the Lord. So here the Vedas are telling us who is a spiritual master, one who has full knowledge of the Vedas. And then faithfully we should follow such a spiritual master to become what? A devotee of the Lord. Then the knowledge of the Vedas will be revealed. When the Vedic knowledge is revealed, one need no longer remain in the darkness of material nature. So by faithfully engaging in devotional service under the direction of the representative of Krishna, according to his association with the material modes of nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, a living entity gets a particular type of body. The example of one who associates with the mode of goodness is a qualified Brahmana. Such a Brahmana knows past, present, and future because he consults the Vedic literature and sees through the eyes of Shastra, Shastra Chakshu. He can understand what his past life was, why he is in the present body, and how he can obtain liberation from the clutches of Maya and not accept another material body. This is all possible when one is situated in the mode of goodness. Generally, however, the living entities are engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. So what we are understanding is that depending on how we are influenced by the modes, we get different types of bodies. So Brahmana is one who is an example of being in the mode of goodness, where he has knowledge. He's trying to understand the Shastras. He's seeing through the eyes of Shastra. That's why it's called Shastra Chakshu. Shastra Chakshu means seeing through the eyes of knowledge, seeing through the eyes of the scriptures. So he can understand the higher purpose of life, which is to get liberation. And because he's in the mode of goodness, so he's able to understand this knowledge. But what is Prabhupada is mentioning, that generally, majority of the living entities are influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. In any case, one receives an inferior or superior body at the discretion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, as stated in the previous verse. Manaseva puredeva pura rupam vipashyate anumimmam sate apurvam manasa Bhagavan Aja. Everything depends on Bhagavan or Aja, the unborn. So in the previous verse, the Yamadutas were saying that there are these witnesses, the sun, the moon, the earth, the fire, the super soul, the directions. They mention the witnesses. And the super soul is there after all. And Yamaraj, he gives his judgment based on all these witnesses. And actually the decision is made by the Supreme Lord and carried out by Yamaraj. So Yamaraj is not an ordinary living being. He can understand what the super soul is saying, carries out the orders of the super soul. So everything depends on Bhagwan or Aja, the unborn. Why doesn't one please Bhagwan to receive a better body? The answer is Agyas Tamasa, because of gross ignorance. So we are understanding everything is depending on God, that depending, He's going to decide. Paramatma is the witness. So He's going to decide where our next body is going to be. So why not please Him? Why? Because of our ignorance. One who is in complete darkness cannot know what his past life was or what his next life will be. He is simply interested in his present body. Even though he has a human body, a person in the mode of ignorance and interested only in his present body is like an animal. For an animal, being covered by ignorance, thinks that the ultimate goal of life and happiness is to eat as much as possible. A human being must be educated to understand his past life and how he can endeavor for a better life in the future. There's even a book called Bhrigu Samhita, which reveals information about one's past, present, and future lives according to astrological calculations. So seems like Bhrigu Samhita is mentioning what our past, present, and future life is going, what was the past life, what the future life will be, according to astrology. Somehow the other one must be enlightened about his past, present, and future. One who is interested only in his present body and who tries to enjoy his senses to the fullest extent is understood to be engrossed in the mode of ignorance. His future is very, very dark. Indeed, the future is always dark for one who is grossly covered by ignorance. Especially in this age, human society is covered by the mode of ignorance, and therefore everyone thinks his present body to be everything without consideration of the past or future. So we are being encouraged to raise ourselves to at least to the mode of goodness, to be able to understand, oh, where I had a body before, and in the future also I will continue to have a body. I have suffered in the past as I'm in the present, and I will continue in the future, so that one can make a solution to this. Panchabi kurute swarthan.
Panchabi kurute
Swarthan.
Panchavedatha panchabe.
Panchavedatha panchabi.
Ekastu sho dashena trim.
Ekastu
Dashena
shodashena
trim.
Swayam saptadasho snute.
Swayam
Swayam
saptadasho
saptadasho
ashrute.
asnute.
About the five senses of perception. Above the five senses of perception, the five working senses, and the five objects of the senses is the mind, which is the 16th element. Above the mind is the 17th element, the soul, the living being himself, who, in cooperation with the other 16, enjoys the material world alone. The living being enjoys three kinds of situations, namely happy, distressful, and mixed. Everyone engages in work with his hands, legs, and other senses, just to achieve a certain goal according to his concocted ideas. So the five working senses, the five knowledge acquiring senses, and the five sense objects, those are the 15 elements, and the 16th is the mind. So one tries to enjoy the five sense objects, namely form, sound, taste, aroma, and touch, not knowing the actual goal of life, which is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Because of disobeying the Supreme Lord, one is put into material conditions. And he then tries to improve his situation in a concocted way, not desiring to follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nevertheless, the Supreme Lord is so kind that he comes himself to instruct the bewildered living entity how to act obediently, and then gradually return home back to Godhead, where he can attain an eternal, peaceful life of bliss and knowledge. So we are here in the material world because of our desire to be independent of God, our desire to control this material nature. And that's why we are put here. And then when we are put here, by our mind, we create different desires. Oh, let me do this, I'll be happy, or I'll do this, I'll be happier. All concocted. It's all by our mind we are thinking. But Krishna, he's very kind. Even though we have forgotten him, we have left him, he's kind. He comes, he keeps coming to give us instructions, how we can get out of this material world, how we can go back home, back to Godhead, how we can live peacefully here in this life, at the same time cultivate spiritual knowledge, and then go back to the spiritual world to lead an eternal life. In the spiritual world, there is no anxiety, it's all peace and happiness. The living entity has a body which is a very complicated combination of the material elements. And with this body, he struggles alone, as indicated in this verse by the words ekastu. For example, if one is struggling in the ocean, he must swim through it alone. Although many other men in aquatics are swimming in the ocean, he must take care of himself because no one else will help him. Therefore, this verse indicates that the 17th item, the soul, must work alone. So what were the 15 items?
5 knowledge acquiring senses.
Yeah.
And the 5 knowledge acquiring, and then the sense objects, 5 sense objects.
Yeah.
Jnana and karma indriya. The 5 are the karma, jnana
Working
and karma.
sense.
Working senses, yeah.
Working senses, yeah.
And the
And
man.
the 16th?
The 16th one is the
16th is
man.
the
Man.
And what's the
yes.
17th?
17th is the soul, Atma.
The 17th is the soul. So now Prabhupada is explaining the soul has to take care of himself. So as everyone is swimming in the ocean, everyone is swimming, but each has to take care of their own self. Because everyone is swimming. So each has to, each is flying their own plane, kind of. Right? So although he tries to create society, friendship, and love, no one will be able to help him but Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his only concern should be how to satisfy Krishna. So the soul navigates alone through this cycle, throughout this universe, sometimes in one body, sometimes in another body. And during his wanderings, he comes across other souls and creates society, creates love, creates friendships. But yet the journey, he is alone. For some time he is there with some souls, but soon he has to give that up. Then he has to go to another place. So the only one who can help is Krishna. Therefore, his only concern should be how to satisfy Krishna, because no one else can help us. Only Krishna can. No matter how much love we have, how much friendship, how much ever bondage, bonding we have with someone, only Krishna can help us get out of this material world. So that is also what Krishna wants. Sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam vraja. People bewildered by material conditions try to be united. But although they strive for unity among men and nations, all their attempts are futile. Everyone must struggle alone for existence with the many elements of nature. For example, one gets diseased, one has to face it. The pain that we face it alone. Although someone else might want to take away the pain, but yet they're not able to. So we ourselves have to bear it. Or whatever experiences we have to go through, we alone have to bear it. Therefore, one's only hope, as Krishna advises, is to surrender to him, for he can help one become free from the ocean of nations. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore prayed, Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha, Kripaya Tava Pad Pankaja, Sthita Duli Sadarsham Vichintaya. O Krishna, beloved son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. But somehow or other, I have fallen into this ocean of nations. And although I am struggling very hard, there is no way I can save myself. If you kindly pick me up and fix me as one of the particles of dust at your lotus feet, that will save me. So this is the 5th verse of the Shikshashtakam. Lord Chaitanya left behind 8 verses, the Shikshashtakam. And this is the 5th verse where he's teaching us how the pure devotee prays. O Krishna, beloved son of Nanda Maharaj. So he's very specific. Brajendra Nandan Krishna. He's calling out to Krishna and Vrindavan. I am your eternal servant. So he's also telling us we have a relationship with Krishna. We are eternal servant. But somehow or other, I have fallen into this ocean of nations. And although I'm struggling very hard, there is no way I can save myself. No, we can't get out of this ocean by ourselves of material world. If you kindly pick me up and fix me as one of the particles of dust at your lotus feet, that will save me. So Lord Chaitanya is also showing us how we can pray to Krishna. In a similar way, Bhakti Vinod Thakur sang, Anadi karma phale padi bhavar navajale, tari bare na dekhi upay. My dear Lord, I cannot remember when I somehow or other fell into this ocean of nations. And now I can find no way to rescue myself. So we can't remember how we fell, when we fell, but somehow we are here right now. And so we should try to get out of here. We should remember that everyone is responsible for his own life. If an individual becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, he is then delivered from the ocean of nations. You know, we may make excuses, oh, it's because of this, because of that, because of this one, or this circumstance, or that circumstance. But actually, the ultimate responsibility is our own. It's our own responsibility. Questions, comments?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just curious. I'm not sure if we are going to read later, but I just wanted to know right now, Ajāmila is listening to this discussion, right?
Yeah.
And does he realize now that only Krishna is helping him, trying to help him, and is he getting detached from his son and his family?
Well, right now only the Yamadutas are speaking, so he's like really scared.
Okay. So he has seen the Yamadutas, but has he seen Vishnu Dutas also trying to?
He has seen the Vishnu Dutas. So right now he's like listening to their conversation, like what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
He's listening to this discussion of what's happening.
And they are talking about
speaking about the religious principles, that if one is sinful, then he has to go to hell. This is what basically the Yamadutas are trying to say, you know?
Yeah. So right now still listening to, and it's not spoken anywhere, or are we going to hear about in future? Because I'm just curious, is he still attached to his son or what? Just wondering. And his family?
He's gonna realize, and he's gonna become a devotee. He's gonna pick up devotional service. He'll get a chance.
Okay. Got it.
He'll get a chance to continue with devotional service, because this is what we are reading. Poshanam, right? Protection by the Lord. So once anyone who has taken shelter of the Lord, Krishna never forgets that person.
Right.
So because he had worshipped Krishna in the past, so Krishna is giving him another chance.
Yes.
Hmm?
Okay. Yes.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The one that you said is so beautiful, that how, like, like we have to do this journey alone. This is the Atma, for the soul, the journey. Like they have to feel. So, like, no matter what, we are, as you mentioned, that we are in so much pain. So, like, when we share our, like how it is said always that, like your parents, and they can't do anything at certain point. You have to face the world yourself, just as your children are facing it on their own. So it's like also a cycle. So, like how we faced, and our parents can't do anything in it.
Yeah.
And somehow we also feel so attached to our children. But then, because if we know, then we can tell them that you have to face the world yourself, and we can't do anything in it. Though they are our most precious gift from God, still we can't do anything. We can just bring them at the lotus feet of Krishna. We can just ask them to serve Krishna. That's the direction we can give. But whatever is their prarabdha, they have to face it on their own. They have to. So, like as you mentioned, it's a small thing, but it's a big thing too. That, if we understand that, then uselessly we will not, be in the pain. Like how I remember how my parents are not. If anything happens, they always say कि कुछ अच्छे के लिए ही हो रहा है बेटा, विश्वास रखो भगवान पे. So because they are in that thing, they don't feel hurt. When any one of us is going through something, then they are always saying कि थोड़ी एक माला ज्यादा कर, कुछ अच्छे के लिए हो रहा होगा, तुझे नहीं दिख रहा अभी. So that's how we are, कि कोई किसी के लिए कुछ नहीं कर सकता है सब. Like if I am in a difficult position, they are standing by me, but they can't do anything. What's going inside me is going inside me. I have to face it all alone.
Yeah.
And if we understand that, then at least rather than spending our time on creating, yes, we should create. We need that support. Yes, there is no doubt. But then we will make our first priority Krishna, because we know that he's our ultimate savior. He's our ultimate father. And we forget that. I mean, I'm talking about myself. Yes, I still forget. And I get carried away in the wave. That ये कर देगा मेरे लिए, या ये शायद हो जाएगा, ऐसे हो जाएगा शायद, But like how I'm remembering, like how Draupadi Devi, like how she thought, कि शायद भीष्म पितामह मुझे बचा लेंगे, शायद मेरे हस्बैंड्स मुझे बचा लेंगे, धृतराष्ट्र महाराज मुझे बचा लेंगे, मेरे पिता जैसे हैं वो मुझे बचा लेंगे, लेकिन nobody could save, nobody. And then she just left it and she just called out to Krishna, wo Yadav hai Sakheti, and then he came. So this is really beautiful, and very deeply they have mentioned it, कि आत्मा तो अकेला ही है.
Yeah, the journey is alone.
Yeah.
It's true. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't make friendships or we
Yeah,
shouldn't
that's
have
what I'm telling.
society.
Yeah, we need
Yeah,
support.
doesn't mean, of course, we continue.
Yes,
We are we
absolutely.
that,
We need support.
but as you pointed out, that the shelter, we should take shelter of Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah. Not easy for us, but
Not easy.
we have to try. We have to try. And that's why we are being reminded every time of it. Yeah. Tad etad shodashakalam
Tad etad
Shodashakalam.
shodashakalam
lingam shakti trayam mahat
lingam shakti
Trayam
trayam
Mahat.
tate no samsritim pumsi
dhrate
Anusramsritim
anusramsritim pumsi
pumsi.
harsha shoka bhayar tidam.
harsha
Harsha
shoka bhaya
Shoka
Bhaya
artidam.
artidam.
The subtle body is endowed with 16 parts, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the 5 working senses, the 5 objects of sense gratification, and the mind. This subtle body is an effect of the 3 modes of material nature. It is composed of insurmountably strong desires, and therefore it causes the living entity to transmigrate from one body to another in human life, animal life, and life as a demigod. When the living entity gets the body of a demigod, he's certainly very jubilant. When he gets a human body, he's always in lamentation. And when he gets the body of an animal, he's always afraid. In all conditions, however, he's actually miserable. His miserable condition is called samsriti, or transmigration in material life. So whatever condition we may be, actually we shouldn't be having a material body. We should have our spiritual body. The sum and substance of material condition life is explained in this verse. The living entity, the 17th element, is struggling alone, life after life. This struggle is called samsriti, or material conditional life. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that the force of material nature is insurmountably strong. Devi esha gunamai, mama maya duratyaya. Material nature harasses the living entity in different bodies. But if the living entity surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes free from this entanglement, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Thus his life becomes successful. So samsriti said, the struggle, samsriti. Like how in Krishna says also karshati, the struggle of material existence. So we continue to struggle in this material world till the time we come to point to surrender to Krishna. So what happens sometimes, the devotees, they may have partial surrender, but at least there is some beginning. We may not have complete surrender to Krishna, but okay, at least one has begun the surrendering process. One is chanting Hare Krishna. So one is beginning. And anyways, it takes a gradual process, because here that was unsurmountably strong desires. That's how it is. We have this unsurmountably strong desire. So sometimes we may get impatient. Oh, well, I've been chanting so long. But it takes time. We have been here for a very long time. The thing is, we just have to carry on. Be enthusiastic about our hearing and chanting. Carry on, and know that Krishna is there. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Dehi Agyojita Satsvargo. Dehi Agyojita Satvargo.
Dehi agyo ajit
ajit
chatvargo.
sadvargo.
Nechan Karmani Karyate.
Nechan
Nechan
karmani
karmani
karyate.
karyate.
Koshakara Ivatmanam.
Koshakara
Koshakara
ivatmanam.
Karmana Chadya Muyate.
Karmana
achaidamuhati.
achaidamuhati.
The foolish embodied living entity, inept at controlling his senses and mind, is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desires. He is like a silkworm that uses his own saliva to create a cocoon and then becomes trapped in it, with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities and then can find no way to release himself. Thus, he is always bewildered and repeatedly he dies. As already explained, the influence of the modes of nature is very strong. The living entity entangled in different types of fruitive activity is like a silkworm trapped in a cocoon. Getting free is very difficult unless he's helped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we keep acting. For that, we keep getting more and more reactions, like that. So we create this net for us, this very, very strong, as it said, cocoon. We are trapped. And the only way get out, surrender to Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In the beginning, it says something against his desire. I thought desire is the one, right? That makes you do, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sinful activities, and here it's saying against his desires.
Against his desires. Yeah, because sometimes we may say, okay, I'm not going to do this. Okay. And yet, because we are bound by the modes, we still do it. Also, again, of course, it boils down to our own desire, but sometimes we may have the desire to also give it up, but the modes also bind us.
Can I give an example, Shilpa ji,
for example,
from my life?
huh?
Can I give an example from my life? It's just happened with me. So it is Ekadashi, and I have this is my personal experience and I'm sharing it. So this is Ekadashi, and I had thought in my mind that I will do my rounds, I will spend the whole day. This is my Ichha, as it is mentioned, my Ichha, that I will do, and it was my kitty, and I said that I won't be able to go because it was हमें अभिषेक करना है, तो already हमें 12 बज जाएगी, 12:30 1 बज ही जाएगी अभिषेक करते करते, तो मैं मना ही कर दिया था. But my desire, against my desire, मेरी इच्छा थी कि मैं बैठ के अपने और राउंड्स करूं, मैं 1 घंटा भी वेस्ट ना करूं. But I don't know, the modes impacted me or what happened. I called her and I said, okay, I'll come. And मैं 1 घंटा अपना निकाल के वहां चली गई, and then उसमें मैं क्या कर रही हूँ कि वही जो हम अपना बातें या मतलब अच्छा तो लगेगा ना आपको. So that is against my desire. मेरी इच्छा, मैंने ऐसा प्लान कर रखा था. But how this happened, and the modes impacted me.
So here actually what happened with Neha was her desire for the round was there, but then there was another desire to enjoy with the material.
Yeah.
So,
that's
but what this is saying is like against the desires, we do something because our desires bring out other desires. To fulfill this desire, we are doing other things to get this desire fulfilled. So yours was different from what this is there. So what it means, I understand, is that when we have some desire, we to fulfill that desire, we are trying to do other things to fulfill that desire, and those desires come up. They are another desires to fulfill that desire. Originally, what our desire is.
That
so
also
we have
happens.
To work
both
It's
ways.
written.
It works both ways.
Yeah,
both of you are saying.
So when we come in this life, we have our desire for, we have our purpose, what we come for, and we work towards it. But there are other desires that come in our life.
So I think it's both
that
the
desire way.
No,
both ways.
Yeah, because it's written
both
here
ways.
कि अपनी इंद्रियों तथा मन को वश में करने में असक्षम मूर्ख देहधारी जीव अपनी इच्छाओं के विरुद्ध भौतिक प्रकृति के गुणों के प्रभाव के अनुसार कर्म करने हेतु बाध्य होता है. तो मैं मूर्ख जीव अपने मैं भौतिक प्रकृति के गुणों में फंस के एक्ट करने लग गई ना, अपने जो नेचुरल मेरा वो था उसके अगेंस्ट मैंने वर्क किया. मैं तो एक जीव हूँ.
See, because the point is, see, inept at controlling sense. What happens, Neha? It's not only you, me also.
Yeah,
me also.
I'm
it's with all of us. Even I feel the same.
It's me. Yeah, me also. I'll say, no, tomorrow I'm going to wake up early. No, then I don't. I'll put the alarm off and I'm still sleeping. Or, no, I'm going to limit my TV time, Or
that
I'm
is
going
why,
to limit my TV
they are
time.
saying this. That is why they are saying control senses and mind.
Inept.
So when
that's why this
we are
inept. The word
Yes.
here is inept,
Mm.
unable
Yes.
to control the senses and mind.
Mm.
Because we
Yes.
are not able to control the senses and mind. So we have some
Yes.
desire. Okay, tomorrow I'll wake up
Yes.
early. But
Yes.
I'm not able to
So,
control my senses. Then
yes.
influence of the mode of ignorance comes in.
Yes. So
Mm.
that
You
is
know?
why they're pointing out senses and mind. When we have
Yeah.
one desire, why we came in this world, we have to follow that desire, and we try to build up other desires because to fulfill that desire. And that
Yeah,
mind
that
is
is
focused,
natural.
that
Yeah.
mind is focused on that desire. But there are
Mm.
other things that we need to do to fulfill that desire. And then
Yeah.
comes Neha's point, where we are not controlled by our senses and we build other desire. That is why they say we are not controlling our senses and
No, but
mind.
my man also ना, मन भी तो
Yeah,
इनेक्ट कर रहा है,
controlling
मैं मन को भी
senses and
कहाँ, हाँ,
yeah,
मन को भी नहीं कर पा रही ना मैं.
yeah.
Maybe I was in that
Inept
mode at
at
that moment.
controlling senses and mind. That's the point. And that's why we are being called foolish, because we are not able to control our senses and mind. Then the modes act. Then the modes
Then
take
we are
over.
influenced. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like us, we are creating our own cocoon.
Cocoon, yes.
Yeah. So what we can do, just pray to Krishna. Krishna, help me.
Help me.
Krishna, save me.
Save me, yes.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
to say it loudly, going in that
Yeah,
mood.
loudly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, we have to feel what we are doing and then
Yeah.
say it
That's
loudly. That really helps
yeah.
more now.
Krishna,
Yeah,
please save
yes,
me.
yes, yes. We are
Yes.
so
But
attracted.
वापस कल same thing happens. I don't know. At least
Yeah.
with me, this is what
नहीं
is
नहीं
It
होता
will
है ना,
happen.
होगा,
Yes,
it
It
will
will,
happen.
yes,
Sneha, मेरे
मैं
से भी
बोलती
होता है.
Krishna help me and वापस
Yeah.
next day I get up
Yes.
morning
yes,
is the same thing.
Same.
Oh
But
my
we
Me
have to
too.
pray. We have
Same
to
yes,
pray
too.
no
Because
matter
we
what.
have to
yes,
understand we have been here since a long time.
yes,
We
yes.
have been here since a long time. So we just heard
And
these desires are
We are
insurmountable. There
hearing
are
all
too
this,
many.
but why am I not able to get out?
because
You
of
know, like
because of two life, senses and mind. The moment we start
oh,
controlling our senses, we will focus on
Yeah.
our because of two,
Yeah.
we are going to live in this two life. We will be sometimes very focused, mindful, but we will control our senses, then we won't be able to do it anymore. But it's going to be a long time to go, like Shilpa says. We have to try, we have to keep chanting,
We
that
have
will
to
help.
keep on going. Yeah. Keep on
Mm.
Yes,
chanting.
yes,
Keep on
we
So
will
we
be
don't
chanting.
have
Keep
to try to
following.
control them. We just have to bring Krishna. We just
yes,
have
Yeah.
to, we don't
always,
have to
Con-
try to
always.
control them.
Yes, yes,
That we
yes.
can
We
never
have
do
to,
it.
yes, connect it with Krishna.
Yeah,
Connect
just
it.
connected with
Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes,
just bring
and
Krishna in the
and
center.
the day it
yes.
goes nice, like everything goes well, like what you plan, then you feel so nice,
Yes,
oh aaj to
Yeah.
itna achhi tarah se
yes,
I did my rounds
Yes.
properly, I
yes,
finished, like
yes.
but it's not every day the same. The thing is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Yeah.
Unsteady, no? That's why then
yes,
unsteady,
steadiness
yes.
comes nishtha. That's the stage of
Mm.
yes,
nishtha.
yes,
We're steady. We are unsteady right now because we are
Hmm.
still going through the anartha nivritti.
Hmm.
yes,
No. So then
Anartha
being
nivriti
steady, that
meaning like
is
cleansing, is it? The conditioning.
cleansing.
Is that?
Yeah,
Oh,
cleansing. Yeah. Like the child, he wants to walk, but he'll fall down, then he'll walk, get up, or he'll fall down, then again he'll get up and walk. Just beginning to learn to walk, no. But one day he will walk, one day he will run also. So that's the process we are in right now.
so it's called Anartha what?
Nivritti.
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 Nish-
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's working. The chanting is
Yes.
working. The hearing is
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, the days are getting better because we
Yeah,
are chanting. Yes, yes,
yeah. We just need each other. We need association to encourage each other.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Srimad
thank you.
Bhagavatam ki
Thank you.
jai,
Hare
Shri
Krishna.
Prabhupada
Jai.
ki jai, Gaur
Jai.
Bhakta Vrinda